Banal story. A short story by Ernest Hemingway. So he ate an orange, slowly spitting out the seeds. Outside, the snow was turning to rain. Inside, the electric stove seemed to give no heat, and rising from his writing table, he sat down upon the stove. How good it felt. Here, at last, was life. He reached for another orange. Far away in Paris, Mascart had knocked Danny Frush Cuckoo in the second round. Far off in Mesopotamia, 21 feet of snow had fallen. Across the world in distant Australia, the English cricketers were sharpening up their wickets. There was romance. Patrons of the arts and letters have discovered the forum, he read. It is the guide, philosopher, and friend of the thinking minority. Prize short stories. Will their authors write our bestsellers of tomorrow? You will enjoy these warm, homespun, American tales, bits of real life on the open ranch, in crowded tenement or comfortable home, and all with a healthy undercurrent of humor. I must read them, he thought. He read on. Our children's children, what of them? Who of them? New means must be discovered to find room for us under the sun. Shall this be done by war, or can it be done by peaceful methods? Or will we all have to move to Canada? Our deepest convictions, will science upset them? Our civilization, is it inferior to older orders of things? And meanwhile, in the far-off dripping jungles of Yucatan, sounded the chopping of the axes of the gum choppers. Do we want big men, or do we want them cultured? Take Joyce. Take President Coolidge. What star must our college students aim at? There is Jack Britton. There is Dr. Henry Van Dyke. Can we reconcile the two? Take the case of young Stribling. And what of our daughters who must make their own soundings? Nancy Hawthorne is obliged to make her own soundings in the sea of life. Bravely and sensibly she faces the problems which come to every girl of 18. It was a splendid booklet. Are you a girl of 18? Take the case of Joan of Arc. Take the case of Bernard Shaw. Take the case of Betsy Ross. Think of these things in 1925. Was there a risque page in Puritan history? Were there two sides to Pocahontas? Did he have a fourth dimension? Are modern paintings and poetry art? Yes and no. Take Picasso. Have tramps codes of conduct? Send your mind adventuring. There is romance everywhere. Forum writers talk to the point, are possessed of humor and wit. But they do not try to be smart and are never long-winded. Live the full life of the mind, exhilarated by new ideas, intoxicated by the romance of the unusual. He laid down the booklet. And meanwhile, stretched flat on a bed in a darkened room in his house in Triana, Manuel Garcia Mera lay with a tube in each lung, drowning with the pneumonia. All the papers in Andalusia devoted special supplements to his death, which had been expected for some days. Men and boys bought full-length colored pictures of him to remember him by, and lost the picture they had of him in their memories by looking at the lithographs. Bullfighters were very relieved he was dead, because he did always in the bull ring the things they could only do sometimes. They all marched in the rain behind his coffin, and there were 147 bullfighters followed him out to the cemetery, where they buried him in the tomb next to Joselito. After the funeral, everyone sat in the cafes out of the rain, and many colored pictures of Mera were sold to men who rolled them up and put them away in their pockets. The end. Best audiobooks for free. Hopes that you have enjoyed this production of Banal story by Ernest Hemingway. This narrative is the 13th of 14 short stories by Hemingway, as published in the compendium Men Without Women. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Rumble, as your subscription is the support we need to create more great free content.